Well, because Xander said tomfoolery, we can start. I was waiting. That was the secret word. Good morning. Oh, I gotta close the door. You know how it is. If I don't close the door, I get yelled at because then my wife says, "Oh my God, you were so loud on the computer." She doesn't sound like that because she's not 80. We are here. It's my last day off because I never have the weekend off. I always have to teach on the weekends. Um, and I'm here spending that time with you before I spend the rest of the day doing chores. Goodness. I know, Shadow. I really wanted to come up with a whole song for you, but I couldn't come up with a good rhyme for the next line, which would have been something like "world full of shilling." And then in the song, it's blood spilling, but I couldn't find a rhyme that made sense and wasn't just forcing a rhyme for no reason. Um, you can tell I have my pre-coffee voice on right now. Is that the only? No, she says shit like that all the time to me. Lance, good morning. How do reviews work? So I have a backlog. I have a backlog of reviews. What you do is you head to my Discord. There's a little roster review request area. You fill out well, some people make the survey very long. I think you can fill out the survey in like 5 minutes, honestly, as long as you don't send me way too much information. And then I add you to that list. Now, right now, that list is insane. I've got one premium review, and let's see, what else do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 others. So 11 total that need to be done. Usually the list is not that long. So usually the list is not that long. And so that's why I wanted to do this today since I have the day off so that we could get the rest of them done on brunch day. Hey, Ani, good morning. Getting the kids ready for school while I get to sit here and do nothing. Shadow, I love all of my whales equally. You guys are always fun. Sometimes people are very stuffy about this game, and I have a very particular sense of humor. And I feel like the whales that I work with, and krakens in some cases, uh, they're all fun people that I can screw around with and goof around with. Hey, Berm. Good morning, man. Good morning. I've been thinking about making a new account when the update releases, but with the new quest, I'm confused on what to farm. Man, sad meal for dinner. I really wish I could help you, but it's just a part of the game that I'm not super familiar with, and I'm very comfortable telling people I don't know the answer. I think some people are not comfortable saying, "Hey, don't know the answer," and they just make up some bullshit. I can't do that. I don't play the early game. I haven't played the early game since 2017. I play at the end game. I know the middle game very well. When it comes to the early game, I don't think the changes with the quests, which are temporary, they're 6 months of these fun quests for the anniversary. I don't think they necessarily change things too much. They're just gonna get you there quicker, right? You're still gonna want to push towards having number one in Fleet Arena because that is fleet crystals, so that becomes a super, super, super really important thing to players. It's just, hey, I can get there really fast now. Am I planning changes for a post RD world? The only major change that I am planning to make right now, and I was going to do a video about this, but we can talk about it right now. I used to farm Darkside 9C because it made more sense to me than Chirotech. Because Electrium conductors are going to be a lot quicker for me to get now, I am going back to farming. I don't even know if it's on this game or on my PC client. I think it's 7B. I'm going back to farming Lightside 7B for Chirotech because Chirotech is going to be a major point of me getting more droid brains, right? I have a feeling that I'm going to be spending my MK3 exclusively on arrow magnifiers, which means I need to make sure that I have the droid brains to keep up with that, which means I need to be constantly farming shock prods to turn into droid brains. So I think that's the only really major change that I'm intending to make right now. Anything beyond that is just gravy, you know? So I'm back on the train. Womp I don't have 5K Kairos. And the reason I don't have 5K Kairos is that about 8 months ago, I stopped farming them because it didn't make sense for me to farm them. It was silly to continue farming them. So I started farming Dark Side 9C for Electrium conductors and Bronzium wirings. Yeah, I agree with you, Berm. And that's kind of what I said, right? Is that it seems like you're just going to go through those things faster, more so than changing the farms that you're going to be going after. Here, I'm going to steal that for the video, Xander, and I am probably not going to give you credit. Let's see. I did my conquest this morning because I didn't really have a reason not to do my conquest this morning. Do I want to do anything else here? 30% health would be nice. All right. If nothing else, I think I'm going to use this as like a stat datacron. So we'll keep that going. Yeah, you know, I was talking to Pico about this yesterday, actually. It's literally the idea of doing a dumb thing and it working out for you, right? So I was saying to him, well, he was saying something that I won't share because I don't know if he wants me to share. But then my retort to that was I always tell people, hey, you know, if you invested in Bitcoin in 2016 and you held it for a long time, you made a ton of money. But it was still a dumb decision to make, right? It was just a dumb decision to make that you lucked out on. So the kind of the same thing with Chirotech. It's good to sometimes recognize, hey, I made a dumb decision, but I benefited from that dumb decision because the dumb decision kind of paid out. All right. Hugsy, I understand that. I did not get lucky on R9s this set, and I know it looks like I did, right? Because you're like, wow, I have all of them. But I had to do some intense re-rolling on my R9s. I got like 4 SLKR ones in a row, which was pissing me off. Thankfully, this was a pretty good TW season for my guild, so I was able to get those re-roll mats. Yeah, no. Part of Mandalore was understanding that Mandalore was the reason that you guys had such a big Chirotech stash. That was the way to get that Chirotech stash and to keep that Chirotech stash going, right? So to turn that off was kind of silly, or would have been kind of silly. So I'm glad, Ani, that you are a smarty McSmartpants and understand that stuff. What else do we have before we start these reviews? I don't think I have anything too present. I'm kind of annoyed that my galactic power is 25,000 below 14 million. And I don't really have anything that I want to do right now that'll get me over that hump easily, without it just being, again, a stupid decision. So we're going to just move on. We're going to get these reviews out of the way. Smooth Butter, good morning. We know the deal with the reviews. Before we do any reviews, we do have to listen to the roster review song. So we're going to queue that up. Do a pilot R9. What pilots do I... that's not going to get me enough. Let's see. What are my pilots? What pilots do I have? I think a lot of my pirates are higher relic. Pilot. I know there's a thing for pilot. There used to be a thing for pilot. Dark side, neutral. Oh, crew member. There it is. Scion might be worth it. Might be worth it, right? Scion might get there with the new Asajj. Yeah, I mean, like, when it comes to pilots, I've generally invested in them. I have a few, obviously, that are lower end, but I would like for these guys down at the bottom, I'd like to do those with Lightspeed tokens if I can help it. Another TB. I have no other TBR9s to do. So GLS, it has already been proven that CG, and CG never said this, right? So it's important that Datacron levels do not have the same percentage rolls. And CG never claimed to say that they have the same percentage rolls. And it's been proven in other Datacron sets that they 100% do not have an equal percent. I have never done the math. I have read math on it, so there's no reason for me to believe that the math would be any different, right? So yes, you were absolutely correct there. The First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot definitely has a different percentage. Whether it's higher or lower, I don't know. RJ, you know, it's funny. Shadow told me you were playing Phil, and I forgot to tell Phil. And then Phil told me yesterday that he was playing you. He was actually very excited about it too. And I was talking back and forth about him, back and forth to him about it. And just congratulations, man. I just whipped that dude into shape. So awesome job. Anytime that Fat Phil gets the shit bit beat out of him, we're happy here, right? That's super important. Have you tried to beat Executor with Home 1 and GAC? I heard it works good, but it also has a low win rate. Weird. It probably has a low win rate because people who, you know, anytime a fleet is complicated, it's going to have a low win rate because not everybody understands it. All right, I guess we'll do some talking before we do roster reviews, right? So anytime something has a low win rate, that is a complicated thing. People don't understand it, and they just say, "Oh, this will work," and then it doesn't work out for them. I have not tried it myself. I am very pro leaving all 3 of my GL fleets for offense. I am not Bit Dynasty. I have told Bit Dynasty that I am directly responsible for half of the revenue on his counter videos for fleets because I watch them constantly for GAC. I leave all of them on offense so that I know I can clear the opponent's defense when I get there. Do you know if Coliseum will be something like tower mode in MSF? I don't know what tower mode in MSF is. I've played MSF before. MSF might be our holiday sponsored charity game this year for those of you who haven't played it before, just because it's an easy access game. I played it before, but so long ago. The way that I understand Coliseum as working, and I want to stress that I'm using totally fake numbers here because I don't know the numbers, but they're going to put you in a shard of 100 people. It's a random shard, right? And your goal is going to be to hit an episode track of personal rewards in order to get things. But there'll also be a high score. That's whatever the highest is for that day or for that week or for that month or for that era. I don't know how scores are going to pay out. And you don't have to be at the top for a specific time. You just have to have the high score for whenever the payout is, right? And it'll stay there for the entire day or for the entire time that it goes. And from my understanding is that score stays and your goal is to constantly rebeat that score. So that's kind of how I understand it. But I don't know. I have the same information that you guys do. It wasn't something that we tested in beta. It wasn't something given to us ahead of time. Battle over supremacy against Arnold. I said that to Meathead a few days ago, that if they incorporated more stuff like putting the people who make content against each other artificially, they would probably see a lot more fun interest on the back end. Because what ends up happening is we start promoting things and we start like talking shit and we start like putting out videos about it, and then more people watch it and get interested and invested. Yeah, I mean, STX, you're right to some extent. Apparently, the shards are going to be like random. So the one thing that I kind of don't like, I guess, is depending on the shard size. Now, if the shards are 10,000 people, it's probably going to be semi-equally distributed. But if the shards are 100 people, you could get super lucky as a free-to-play, and your entire shard is people who don't spend any money, and you do really well that month. But then the next era, it's a totally different shard, right? And you now get a shard with all whales, and now you're completely fucked. It's we'll see how it works. What I will say is that CG, typically when there is a big change like this, after it goes live, there is a corrective change about 2 weeks to a month later. So I would not be surprised if Coliseum comes out and nobody likes it and everybody's mad and they're like, this is fucking stupid. And then for the next era, they make some changes that make it a lot better. They are very good about that. I don't necessarily know if it's the right way to go, but like realistically, even if there is a beta program of some people testing, it is hard to kind of gauge everybody's reaction and also make it profitable at the same time. Yes, Berm gimmicks in GAC fights with creators. Me and Phil already have a long-standing agreement that if we face each other in GAC, that we are going to go crazy. Like, we're going to do just something super silly. We're going to do like no GL, or like your teams have to make no sense, or just silly things so that we can have fun and be competitive in like just a dumb way that people haven't seen before. Lance, I have seen it be described as old raids as well. Someone asked me about that, and it does seem like it, to me, it seems like that's kind of going to be similar to what we can expect. Is something like old raids. The difference, though, now is now you're not competing against your guild, which kind of sucked. Competing against your guild really sucked when you're really supposed to be like competing with your guild. But now it's going to be against other people, so it's not going to be as bad. Made a nice change there, making separate leaderboards for spenders and free to play. I don't know financially if that's that made sense for them. I have no idea. I haven't seen their books, but I think that's something that we all need to understand, is that this is a business, and people who spend money generally spend money to stay on top. So there is that expectation, that there's going to be people that they're able to beat more easily because those people aren't spending money. I accepted that a long time ago. Obviously, I do spend money. Sometimes I just spend other people's money when they get mad about my poverty meter on my streams. But in general, I am a comparatively low spender in regards to somebody like Scribe, who automatically takes everything to Relic 8 because that's what Scribe does. And I love Scribe. His bald head. I just want to rub it or something. Yeah, SLKR solos back in the day were just so annoying. It was annoying because guilds had to come up with stupid rules. It was like nobody can do a solo in the first half hour of a raid, because you need to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to hit it. And it was just dumb. And then it was random chance on everything on top of that. And I'm so glad that they changed it to a supportive system, rather than an adversarial system, because you shouldn't be on Discord fighting against your guildmates. All right. we got to get into these reviews, right? Because otherwise, I'm not going to get any of them done. I love Scribe, man. I do. We talk often enough. He's a good guy. He's a funny guy. He matches what I'm putting out when it comes to the humor. Okay, we got to do this, right? We have to get to reviews. I don't know if I queued up the review song correctly, so you may hear some weird audio before I fix it. But let's get going.
Roster review. A break and taking a roster reviews. Talking to me that what pack sex should sell to you. Ooh, to you. To you.
All right, we are back. I think there was a little bit of a clip in the audio somewhere in the middle there. That's my fault. I set it to monitor only for a second, and I was like, oh crap, I gotta fix that. RJ, you just go to my Discord. But if you're facing Fat Phil in GAC, it's unlikely that you really need a review, and I'm probably gonna look at your roster and go, what do you want from me? But I haven't seen your roster, so maybe you're just punching up significantly and you're wondering about what your next steps are. Let's see what we got here. We have a fun one today that he was very mad last week that you messaged his secretary. He was very mad last week when I didn't get to his review because he's a premium subscriber and those are supposed to go first, but he posted this review in the middle of the stream, so like how was I supposed to know, right? Here we are. We have Vance's account, and we are intimately familiar with Vance's account. We know Vance's account very, very, very well. Let's see what he says, and let's see if he listens to me. Type of review, just a regular review. What the top 20 Refleet Arena looks like. I was at 1 because Sin helped me, but I don't know fleet counters yet. Okay, so number 1, go watch a Bit Dynasty video. Are you coordinating talking with your fleet Discord? Barely. Assault battles, most of them are at CT3 because I did them for you. Ground War is still CT1, CT2, but I think you're going for JML pretty soon, right? Secrets and Shadows, CT2. It's so weird because he wrote them backwards. CT2, CT1. Fanatical Devotion, he's saying maybe he's at CT2. I don't know. I don't really know. I'm farming signal data and Kairos because I'm waiting for Bane, but then I don't know about clones or JML or Ray, and I'm not actually shard farming anything, which is stupid because for the past month I could have been getting Scorch shards to make Tarkin useful, but it's BVC. I 7-starred all the Jedi Knight Cal requirements, so I'm just hoarding for something after Bane. I don't know what. My guild does not require anything. My goodness. Are you dead set on continuing with the current farms? No, but no ships or Jedi Knight Cal or Inquisitors, please. I mean, listen, Vance, I'm going to tell you what to do. And you can choose to ignore it, right? Like, if I tell you Jedi Knight Cal, like, it's silly to come to me for advice and tell me, hey, I don't want this advice if it's good advice. Just choose to ignore it. That's fine, right? Yes, you can get CT3 and Fanatical Devotion without Riva, but it is a pain in the ass, and I do not recommend the time spent on it. Are there any favorite characters? No. Shards for any important Proving Grounds characters. I should have Bane this PG. Other than that, I'm nowhere near any of them. So Ben is 99, so Ray is useless. Malgus is 110. DS Ray is 125. Ezra is 165. The closest to IM is Quadme 200. All right, let's see. Let's check out the Vance account, shall we? He is 8 million, and I have to say, now he has jumped a lot of guilds in the last month, I think. Raid history. Yeah, he's jumped a little bit, but now he is in a guild called a Guild of Gungans. I don't know how good a Guild of Gungans is, but I really solidly appreciate the guild being a Guild of Gungans, so I will give him some credit where that credit is due right now. He has his executor. He does not have profundity. I'm sure, given his fleet shard, he probably can still climb with this executor to at least get into the top 20. And he just needs to watch fleet videos. Anything by Bit Dynasty will help, right? Show us the guild. Let's see. He's in a 500 million guild, which is nice. The raids, I mean, for a 500 million guild, I feel like they're lacking just a little bit. I would like to see another box over here. Especially the inconsistency here is kind of annoying, but Vance doesn't have a raid score that as it exists anyway, so it honestly doesn't matter. Doing 36 to 37 in TB. They are the typical TW guild, not doing anything there. But honestly, it's about where Vance should be anyway, right? So it doesn't matter. Let's see his profile. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I kind of know the account too. I have his login. I've been on his account. I've worked on his mods. I've tried to fix things for him. Really, his big thing is mods. He needs to put tons of energy towards having better mods. Every time he loses a GAC, it becomes, oh man, like we just need to fix what's going on here, right? And I've had conniptions literally on his account going like, what is going on? Like, what is wrong with this? But we've fixed some stuff. We fixed a few things. I want to just take a look. Well, no, before I do that, I want to look here. This is the Vance account. This is the Vance account. I hate that these guys are still not startup. Like, truly. Oh my god. Like, Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan should be... look, Vance, I know you're hurting for materials, so I honestly feel like this... I honestly feel like I know it'll be hard for you to get R9s, but like, oh my god. This is... This is actually a perfect project for you, Vance. The reason this is a perfect project for you is because you hate things that take a ton of time. And Padawan Obi-Wan and Master Qui-Gon are quick things for you. Right? Like, those are two very easy, very quick things. You can do this in 3 weeks and then get them to R9. So I'm going to tell you, yes, get them to R9. User, good morning. By the way, I had ChatGPT do a mock-up for me. Right? What do you think? Now, this is not the real thing. Moonborn will do one for me. But this is my outstanding mortgage meter that will replace the days without spending meter. No, he needs to bring these to R9. Here's the thing about Vance, right? The thing, he has to fucking zero it. The thing about Vance is he does things so slowly. He does things so ridiculously that he needs to have the passive income. They need to go to R9. He's not an efficient player. He's not someone where it's like, if I tell him to do something quickly, he is going to like be able to quickly do that thing. He is someone that just coasts, and passive resource income is the perfect opportunity to not coast, right? Bring these fuckers to R9. User, I will zero it out once we finish this review, man. I didn't know if you'd be mad by a 1 day, a 1 day poverty meter. But bring them to R9. That's an easy thing for you. Let's check out what we're doing here. I know Ray is kind of useless to you right now because you're so far from Ben, and you're so far from Ezra, so it doesn't even. Am I sure he will do the simming of ABs? No, honestly, I'm not. I honestly have no idea if he'll even sim the ABs, but it would be significantly beneficial to his account. He has to log in to do the sim battle. See, there you go. Everybody's on the same page. Ray's useless to you right now because you're just so far away from the things that make him useful. It just annoys me so much that you said you farmed the gear and stuff for Jedi Knight Cal and you just refuse to do it. I know that you hate Jedi Master Luke. I get it. I understand it, but it's just you shoot yourself in the foot so hard, especially as someone like Sin just put you in a position where she agreed to buy you the conquest pass for every conquest during this cycle, as long as you hit a certain threshold on tokens. And Jedi Master Luke would make that so significantly easier for you to do going forward. And like, look how easy this is going to be, right? Look at how far away, like you're not far away at all. It's literally just relic levels. It's just, my goodness. My recommendation to you would be to do the Pancho Brothers. Get them done right away. Then finish off Jedi Master Luke. And honestly, man, you're so far from Fury class that, like, it doesn't make sense to go for Leviathan, but you should always be working on fleets. So I would be working on Profundity in that time as well. As to what you should be shard farming, because yes, you're right, you should always have a shard farm going. I would start slow farming towards Leia. And that puts you in a nice position. So that's what I'm going to tell you to do. I don't think we need to get any more detailed than that with the Vance account, because I don't know if you're even going to listen to me. But I know you mean well, man. I do, and I rib you, and you're a good sport most of the time. But I do seriously want to see the you and the account do better. And that is what I think would make sense for you guys. Or for you guys, for you. I don't log on that much anymore because we have met our obligation, right? All right, we are going to move on to the first one, but as promised, I do need to zero out the poverty meter. So let's pop the game back up, I guess, right? Let's see if there's anything worth right now zeroing out the poverty meter. What is that? 36. That's like 10 USD, right? It's really like 7 USD after YouTube. So one of these bundles would not be that bad, even though I don't particularly need them. I don't need Chirotech. R9 materials. Xander, man, I need to do something smart like Scribe does and have sub goals for R9s, because I will do silly R9s. What is this? Card 2. Ew. Don't need any of that shit. Yeah, I have those bundles. Like, they're not great bundles, but also I'm on a budget, right? I'm on a user budget. I actually already have the Tuscans. My Tuscans are already R5. I think. I think my Tuscans are R5. I'm honestly not sure. Tuskens. Oh, they're like 3 to 5. I don't know if it's worth it for me, honestly. Zero at the bundle. Zero at the bundle. I might just get one of those relic ones. I mean, this one's not terrible. All right, we will zero it out, but we got to do it on the phone. I am always willing to do a silly R9 if it's worth it to me. If people are telling me to do it, they're paying for me to do an R9 for something stupid, then I will gladly follow suit. All right, we want this one because I can always use these materials. More payment options, Apple Pay. Do I send EA my $5? Yes, I do. You are all set. Your purchase is complete. You like to see that you are giving me a chance to face Shadow. I'll respond to that in just a second. We have to update the poverty meter, right? So let's video elements. Be right. No. Backgrounds, background alerts, Jar Jar widgets, script. Edit in Notepad. What is today? The 6th? The 7th? Today is the 7th. Update the script. Background toppers. We gotta refresh. Oh no, the toppers are this thing over here. The alerts. There we go. All right. How much does it cost for an R9? Just R8 to R9 used to be about $150 in materials. It's actually a lot cheaper than it used to be. But I haven't done the math on the materials anytime in recent history, so I don't off the top of my head have an answer to that. Let's move on to the next one, right? Because our goal here is to get through a bunch of these today. Will I face Shadow in GAC? One day I will. It'll happen. One day Shadow and I will go toe-to-toe, and he'll slap me silly because he is the better GAC player. But, if you weren't on before when I was looking at my datacrons, and I have a lot more datacrons than I used to have, so I'm starting to get there. And Shadow, when it comes to spending and don't spending, I mean, you have access to my premium charts, right? So, I would use those. They are beautiful. They are beautiful. I know it sounds bad. It's your boy, but you get enough of it for free where you don't have to spend. It's all about being smart with your spending. All right, let's move up. We got ForgottenKnight. We're gonna scroll up to find it. There it is. ForgottenKnight. I do scout. I scout with user. I don't scout for myself. I don't need to scout. Scouting at my level is silly because everybody has everything. All right, what's the time? 45. Perfect. 45. Lance, I'm probably not going to get through them all today, but the good news is twofold, right? One, Sunday, I always do a brunch stream, and I always do reviews during that brunch stream. And if you're not there for my brunch stream, I always tag you guys on Discord afterwards, and I always tag the time in the video. So you can always go back and you can see what I said if you missed it. I don't even dig into the hundreds most of the time. I do 50s, and I'll do 100s on stream just for fun. All right, we got ForgottenKnight. Top type of review, regular. Top 20 of your fleet arena looks like Leviathan. Are you coordinating? Yes, can get second place. Assault battles. So I'm assuming that they're all CT. I'm assuming they're all CT3. Yeah, except for Secrets and Shadows is 0. Fanatical Devotion is CT2. Pretty Patrol, you're working on it. What are you currently working on? I have a path of farms I set up, but I'm 100% open to reorganizing. Zombie team to R9, Enoch, and then NS Troopers for their event is your current farm. After that, my current plan is to get a couple more relics and tunes that I have at lower relics. Savage R5, Starkiller team to R5, Marin to R5, Zora to R5, Wampa to R5. Bo-Katan Mandalore requirements are 7. Now, this was posted on 10/26. So I'm assuming some of this stuff you have gotten done before that. Up Balin requirements, up Ahsoka requirements. Might want to do her before Kenobi Hondo since they just announced a new event for her, although I'm confused by what the time limited means. Is that it lasts 1 day and it's monthly forever like assault battles, or is it like an era battle? So Meathead answered this on Discord, and because people were getting mad about it and trying to figure it out, and he basically said that time limited means that it is available for a short time during the month, but that it will come around every month, right? So you can expect it to be a monthly event. I don't want to say forever, right? But with not a specific time period attached to it. How highly do you value efficiency? For now, efficiency, I got my fun farms done a few months ago. Shards for any important Proving Grounds character. After this PG, I'll unlock both Ezra and DTMG. I could also unlock Bane if I refresh his tier or wait 1 more month. All right, let's take a look, right? Let's take a look. Let's see the account. 11.6 million, beautiful. I do want to see if you finished the Zombie Bros. In the time since you posted this. You have not yet. Okay. I do like these guys being done first. I know I get yelled at a lot in Discord, and everybody's like, oh, there's Egnard's going. He's talking about the Zombie Bros again. I've said this on stream. I've said this on Discord. I've said this on Zeta Protocol with Pico. He agrees with me. And I will tell you that I think that he is one of the smartest players in this game when it comes to like actually thinking about things logically. You should always be working on passive resource acquisition. Always put your resources to work for you. Don't work for the resources. It is so dumb. I know that you're on this train, but it's just important. It is so dumb to not bring these guys to R9 if you're in a position to be able to do it within a reasonable time frame. So yes, get these guys done. Savage, Starkiller team. Starkiller's still R3. I personally think Starkiller at least should go to R7. Okay. So that's interesting. It seems like not a lot has happened in since you posted this review and now. The ROI of Zombie Bros is 3 years if you do not refresh the top tier. But again, I've been playing this game for 9 years. The timer on that 3 years starts when you hit them at R9, not when they came out. So it's important to do that earlier rather than later. And I'm going to tell you that you should always be refreshing that top tier. Now, will that advice change in the future with R10 and the economy changes? Maybe, but I'm probably still going to bring them. I'm still probably going to be refreshing that. R8 as an attacker for Stranger. Stranger will almost likely be going at least to R8 for most people in the end game. At least R8. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where are we in GAC? Erodium. I'd love to see you get into Kyber, man. I really, really would love to see you get into Kyber. Raid history, we're doing about 2 million. Your guild needs you to be doing less than 2 million, so it doesn't really make sense to do much more. I don't hate your plan. I would say Jar Jar, look, I hate saying this because Jar Jar is my favorite character in the game, right? But Jar Jar is a fairly unimportant character. And I'm going to be honest with you, Mace Windu, with where you are and where your guild is right now, I don't think Mace is that important of a character for you right now either. Might want to do Ahsoka before Kenobi Hondo. Let's take a look at our GL stuff. Kenobi is a nice Swiss Army knife for offense, but he's also a GL that doesn't really lead anywhere, so definitely a character that can kind of be held off. We have a lot of this. Good. Bo-Katan, Jar Jar, Ahsoka, Balin. I would much rather you getting Balin over the other ones. Balin requirements. Now, the other thing is, I'm looking at your plan, and you have a pretty comprehensive plan. This plan goes pretty far into the future. And I try not to make a plan past 6 months because the game changes considerably over different time periods, right? So I like to think of like a 6-month plan as being the highest that you can possibly go without, going too far. I definitely like Zombie Bros. Zombie Bros should definitely happen. Savage, I want to check out your other Sif. Treya's R5. Savage, I think, is still R3. Okay. Zombie Bros to R9. Savage, I want to look. I know I'm bouncing around a lot, but I always think of different context. So you have a little bit of shard farming here. Obviously, prioritize Pado and Sabine for the shard farming so that maybe you can get the other tier and also speed up this farm a little bit. Hondo, we're a little bit further from. Okay. It's interesting because 3 weeks ago, I would have told you, ignore Ahsoka. But now with her event, it's like, oh, if you're willing to bring her to R9, it's more passive R9 material, and it's worth it. And signal data too. I would say that you should be finishing your Dead Boys to R9. You should be refreshing Padawan Sabine once a day, at least. Right? Refresh her once a day. Honestly, you might even want to refresh all 3 of these farms once a day. And as you finish the Dead Bros, you work on these small things. So like Savage to R5, Starkiller to R5, Marin to R5, Zora to R5, Wampa to R5. You work on those small things while you're finishing the shard farm for these guys. And then I would probably do Ahsoka then. I would do Ahsoka ahead of Bo-Katan. Yeah, I would do Ahsoka ahead of Bo-Katan. And as you start to get to the end of Ahsoka, that is when I would start working on Bo-Katan. I know it seems like you're closer here, and you are, but it's not going to give you the same cost benefit as Ahsoka is now going to give you with the R9 tier of her event. And it's one of those things where the sooner you do it, the better it is for you. In terms of what else is important for your account, Bo-Katan is important. Hondo is going to be important. Afra might be important. with the new tank. But, you know, it depends on how much you plan on going into this new anniversary era. Mace, not important for your account. Jar Jar, not important for your account. Old Republic. Your Old Republic already looks like they're fine. Maybe Jedi Knight Revan to R5 right now. Other than that, I'd kind of leave this as it is for now. You know, but Relic Delta is going to speed things up. It's going to slow things down. It might change the viability of certain teams. And you might have to pivot that plan a little bit. I don't really particularly think anything here is super, super important. As far as Bane, if you can handle it, if you have the crystals, if you have the gear, I would wait. I would not wait for Bane. Bane is such a Swiss Army knife for a roster. He is the get out of jail free card. He is the press in case of emergency card. He is so versatile that if you have the gear to support him short term, I would do it. Ezra, that's important to gear up because it'll work well with your Rey since you don't have Ahsoka yet. DTMG, good team, not important to gear up. Bane, very important to gear up. That's where we'll stop here. Just to kind of give you some context on your plan. I think the plan is overall good. Just some shifting around is important. I saw somebody mention, it was Azurite. Most players won't have the crystals for that though, right? So for refreshing the Dead Boys, it's 1,000 crystals. Okay, and you get 300 of those crystals from just doing the event that day. So you need 700 crystals divided by 30. You need 23 crystals a day. That is what you need, is 23 crystals per day in order to do that. 23 crystals per day. Most players can support it. Most players don't want to support it. You can do that refresh and the Duel of the Fates refresh for 46 crystals a day. Cue Sarah McLachlan music. These poor players. They exist in a world without Duel of the Fates and Peridia Patrol. Every day, they scrape by, looking when they will see their next droid brain. For just 46 crystals a day, you can support a player. You can see them. You can let them know that they will be droid brain secure. With your monthly donation, you will receive a letter from that player detailing how they used that droid brain. Please help. Like, that's it, right? That's it. That's all it is. How many R10s do you hope a free-to-play account will be able to get over the course of an era? Over the course of an era is 3 months, right? I think that R10 is going to be semi-restrictive. I would say that if a free-to-play player can get one R10 per era, that would be pretty generous, and it wouldn't be that bad. And some people are going to say, oh, that sucks, one R10 per era. But the reality is you're not going to need that many R10s, right? As long as you exist in the ecosystem of R7 to R10, you're good. So I'm thinking it's going to be probably one R10 per era for somebody who's free to play. And for me, that's going to be Jar Jar. My first one is Jar Jar. My second one is going to be Merrin. My third one will probably be something useful. I might even bring JML to R10, but only if I can get, only if I can basically bypass R9. Because I think that would be funny to me, is if I could completely bypass R9 and just do R9, R10 in the same day for JML. With Delta, we might need it. No, you R10. No, you don't, because Delta 1 and 2 is not that impactful. And with the MK2 and 3 changes, or the MK2 and MK1 changes, I am like, holy shit. I am going to be relicking shit to R7 so damn fast. You got 12 R9s in 3 years, but you don't need a lot of R9s. Right? Remember, for the first 3 years of R9 was not very impactful. And it was a lot harder to get. They have started to open up that R9 floodgate over the last year and a half. So I bet that most of your R9s were probably in the last year and a half. RJ, I appreciate you stopping in. You were fun, man. And if you're wanking to me, pretending that I'm Sarah McLachlan on screen, look, that is what it is. Anytime somebody says something ridiculous like that, I send it to Sexy Vexy and I tell them, hey, listen, here's the thing. I'm in the running for sexiest Swugga content creator. I have to do it on stream only so I can clip it and shame you. And we'll do, you know what? That'd be great, Xander. If I do an R10 JML right after doing a reading of I Won't R9 My JML, because that is the funniest video I've ever done, and I think it just does not get the appreciation that it should. Let's move on, right? We will need to push a lot of characters to R7, but you're going to be doing that very quickly. Let's keep going. TinyBubbles. TinyBubbles. I love TinyBubbles. He's a fun guy. It makes me sad that he's not from the House of the Hut anymore. Let's see. 102. TinyBubbles. I'm still going to say from the House of the Hut, even though you're no longer, even though they've broke apart. TinyBubbles from House of the Hut. Type of review, regular. What the top 20 of your fleet arena looks like? Both the Leviathans, Profundities, and some Executors, but I still get number 1. Are you coordinating? No. Everything else I'm assuming is CT3. Secrets and Shadows, Peridia Patrol. It kills me that Peridia Patrol is not at least R7, but really R9. What are you currently working on? You can always tell if people have a bald kink if they name Bit Dynasty as their sexiest content creator. I just unlocked Profundity. I'm currently working on raid teams such as Scorch to R9 for the Tarkin Scorch Duo 3.6 million. Also now just waiting on the JMMW event to show back up. Are you dead set on continuing? I'm assuming that event showed back up in this time because this was in October. Yes, since eventually I plan on getting LV done once I have the teams for the raid ready, just unsure of what to do after LV, especially with Relic Delta coming, not so sure if I should Relic Tunes higher to help myself be more competitive. How high do you value efficiency? I'm always about that efficiency. Are there any favorite characters you want to prioritize? Not at the moment. Eventually, once I unlock DS Ray, maybe. Shards for important Proving Grounds characters. Maybe DS Ray and Ezra, since I didn't even get to participate in their conquest events, was taking a hiatus from the game when they came out. Well, then I don't know what your shards are for those characters, but I'm assuming that it is very, very, very low, so unimportant for right now. Let's take a look at the account. No, AP is whiny. AP is a whiny McWine. And I actually, we're going to pause this roster review for a minute. AP, who is a nice guy when you talk to him, is everything that is wrong with our current communication cycle with CG. AP Gains is the reason that the what is the word I'm looking for? That the relationship between content creators and CG completely fell apart. And he did something incredibly irresponsible by reading just some ridiculous and very inflammatory questions on a stream where CG was willing to go on a stream with him to answer questions. And it broke down the relationship between CG and all content creators for a long time. And we are just now fixing that over the last year. So, no. That is an AP gains thing, and just no. Did they answer those questions? They did not. The question was like, why do you suck dick, or something that was just asinine and wrong, and it wasn't even about being moderate and being in the middle. It had everything to do with just trying to get a cheap laugh at the expense of the people who were willing to do something, within that content creator sphere. And yes, C squared, the Gungies heals all. The Gungies fixed that. We got Meathead to do something with us, and that opened the floodgates. But now, on to TinyBubbles of the House of the Hut. My question is, hey, how you doing? Okay. R9 SKR. We have Profundity. We have Rogue One. Raid history, we're doing about 3 million. You're going for the Tarkin Scorch thing. Raids, your guild's not doing terribly at the raid. It could be doing better, but it seems like they're looking to push that next box maybe, which is nice. So your R9 Scorch will help, especially if you're going for Lord Vader. I've said this before. I will say it to you again. R9 Peridia Patrol, like, to me, oh, hey, TinyBubbles. There he is. R9 Peridia Patrol, to me, is a non-negotiable at the end game. And if you can't spare the R9s, I feel like it is an R7 minimum. I would at least be slow farming these guys. As a bare minimum, I would be slow farming Death Trooper, Captain Enoch, and Night Trooper so that you can get them to 7 stars. So that you can get them to R7 minimum. At the very least, that is the bare minimum thing you should be doing right now. Scorch, okay. And Scorch is so quick. Scorch is almost done, right? You got to bring Scorch to R9, fine. Tarkin is already R9. This is 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks for you, right? So that's quick. That's easy. R9 user, we did, right? As a spender, as someone who spends a lot, it makes sense to do it earlier. If you are a light spender, free to play, it makes sense to do it later, but it does not make sense to ignore it. So definitely prioritize this as you're right now, because this is happening. I would definitely prioritize getting Peridia Patrol at least slow farmed and then to R7. At least to R7, but I am a strong contender, and I am super in the R9 camp there. Where are we on Lord Vader? Because I know that that's what you're looking to do. Tusken Raider, Newt Gunray. Yeah, the Scorch Tarkin run is so easy, too. General Skywalker has to go up a gear level, which is fine, because you're going to need that for later things anyway. User, our accounts are girl math incarnate. Leviathan, we're a little bit away. Profundity Executor, we have Jabba, we have all this stuff. Good. JMK, not super important. I'd love to see you get Leia. Fury, do you have Fury class? You do have Fury class. And an unfarmed score. Yeah, that's the Vance way. He was so proud when he showed me that R9, too. He was like, look what I did. And I was like, oh, no, man, why? Let's go back here. Gear tracker. Let's check out that Leviathan. I've said this a lot. The best time to farm a fleet is when you don't fully need the fleet. So just because you have the ability to get first in fleets does not mean you should ignore Leviathan. It's actually the best time to do it because then you don't need to star it up quickly and you can let yourself get those shards for free. I would definitely be also slow farming Sortie right now. And I would try to get that R9 Scorch as soon as possible. I would get Peridia Patrol at least to R7 while you're slow farming the Leviathan Sortie, while you are slow farming the Peridia Patrol, which you're doing right now. I would be working on Lord Vader to move into Leviathan right afterwards. And quite honestly, after that, not bad. Well, after that, I would probably move into Leia next. I think Leia makes sense as your next big thing. She is just solid in every game mode. Unfortunately, her economy event is not great, but it is something. But she exists outside of that economy event. She is able to do so many good things that we ignore her economy event as being terrible, since she's going to put up big numbers for you everywhere else in the game. I'm assuming as a guild at your level, your guild is probably already doing Mandalore. So eventually you're going to want to do Bo-Katan, but I don't think it is a necessity right now because you're almost definitely already doing that. I would be very surprised to find out if your guild wasn't doing R9 doing Mandalore right now. DS Ray, and yeah, DS Ray, you're far from. I'm assuming you did get Jedi Master Mace Windu, right? Because the event, no, did the event not come back? But it's coming back soon. I don't remember what the exact date was that was on that. You are doing Mandalore, yeah. So there's your answer. You should be working towards Peridia Patrol. You should be working towards Leviathan. You should be working towards Leia. Those are your next major farms. Now, in terms of relic levels for Delta, my thought process is with Relic Delta is, unless you are currently in a situation where you're like, oh, I face this at an RD5 a lot right now, that you should wait until Relic Delta until you start to make those changes. Because I think the other things you're doing right now are going to be more impactful to you, right? All of that, those big farms. I like to, if a counter doesn't work for me, I go, okay, I got to bring this up a little bit, right? And I've done that in the past. Oh, Wompat R3 isn't working for me anymore. I'm going to bring it to R5. Oh, Wompat R5 isn't working for me anymore. I'm bringing it to R7. Oh, I want to piss off Fat Phil by having an R9 Wampa, so I bring it to R9, and that benefited me. But I think that that's kind of where you should go with the account right now. Any other questions? Unknown Messiah. I do my reviews on a tip basis. So technically they are all unpaid. And some kind people buy me a beer afterwards. It is not mandatory, but I do have a line. It is not just a drop ally code situation. You head to our Discord. There's a short little survey that you fill out. And if you're not here for your review, I tag you in the video and I tag the timestamp for you so that you can come back and check it out at your own leisure without having to worry about being online. Oh. Ugh. Just waiting on TinyBubbles to confirm if there are any other specific questions, but otherwise, I think I have time to get at least one more done before my wife wakes up and kicks me off of the computer. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-ba-da-da. Water into wine. Gotta move quickly. I'm gonna assume that Mr. Tiny Bubble is not really leveling Leia, or it is. And don't forget Peridia. Yes, I give the best reviews, guys. I give the best reviews. All right, so we have Tiny Bubbles. We're going to Kith now. Let's pop on over here. Let's check out Kith. Where is Kith? Kith's review. We're at Kith. We are at let's say 116. There we go. We have Kith's account, more of a mid-game account. All Leviathans, I've taken multiple breaks, so it's an old fleet. Okay. The assault battles are mostly CT2, CT3, which is good. I swear, nobody wants to farm the Imperial Remnant, and I'm telling you. Now, at your level, you don't need them at R9, but I'm telling you, it's just so worth it. Finishing GL Leia, farming shards for BKM, finishing JML, farming Jedi Knight Cal requirements. The only one of these I'm dead set on is finishing Leia. I would love to help the guild, though, with rote farms. I'm going to tell you, man, I have not looked at your account yet, but you are probably on the right track. More than likely, based on what this is telling me, I think you are on a good track, and I don't know if I have anything more to offer you, but we're going to go on and we'll check it out. I value efficiency fairly high with my lack of crystal income from fleet, and that's the one thing we're going to try and solve. The only character I would consider a passion project would be JMK. Proving Grounds, the only Proving Grounds character of any consequence that I have unlocked is Cat. Most of the rest I'm quite far from unlocking. My closest to unlock is Bane at 180 out of 330. Okay. Oh, there's Kith. Well, Kith, it's nice to know that you're on a pretty good path. Obviously, we want to solve the fleet problem, but you're on a fairly good path. So let's take a look. 6 million. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, only GL right now. Ships. We do not. Oh, we do. We have an Executor. Now, in the past, Executor could beat, I think it needs 7 stars, but Executor could beat Leviathan. With some very specific strategies, and I don't know if it is the most reliable thing in the world. I am not a fleet expert. Bit Dynasty is. I would look at some of his videos to see if there is anything you can do to really try to get that crystal income up. At the very least, being at rank 273, at the very least, getting yourself into the top 50 would be super preferable. I want to take a look here. Where are we from profundity? Okay. Got to farm Dash. And where are we with Bo-Katan? We're fairly far from Bo-Katan with the guild farm. What guild are we in? UW Porg. You guys are 480 units. Mandalore, Bo-Katan. So your guild is not doing Mandalore yet, but you are working on doing Mandalore. You're trying to get there. Jedi Master Luke. Okay, Profundity. That's going to bring you closer to Profundity because of Mon Mothma, which is nice. GL Leia requirements. You're super close. We are not stopping Leia. Leia is great. Do it. Do her. Do that. Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. We're still farming that. Okay. My thought here is, I hate saying this. Well, let me just check. Imperial Remnant. Okay. I hate saying this, but I think it's actually okay for you to be ignoring Imperial Remnant and Pretty Patrol right now. And it's very rare that I say that. I would really like to see you getting Profundity. I think it would significantly benefit you very much so to get that Profundity and really help build up your crystal income more than anything else. Leia, we can't stop. We're already so close to it. Finish Leia. While you are finishing Leia, I would be slow farming Mon Mothma because that's going to lead into your Jedi Master Luke. I want to just look at Bo-Katan real quick. So you can slow farm Paz. You can slow farm IG 12. I would slow farm Mon Mothma, and I would slow farm Dash Rendar. 5 battles a day on all 4 of those. Yeah, Executors can beat Leviathan, but I wish I could give you the exact strategy. That is a bit Dynasty thing, but definitely still can. But I think it will be easier to move through the ranks with the Profundity, and working towards those fleets are going to really help an account in this position. Especially doing like MK6, which I'm 99% sure is still working against Leviathan, even with the slight change. But I would slow farm those 4 things. I would finish Leia 100% hands down as your next thing. That should be very quick. I would probably work towards... Oh, and you're going to need to slow farm Radis as well. I didn't see that Radis was only 4 stars. So that's 5 things that you're going to be farming right now. But as slow farms, 5 battles a day. After Leia is done, I really think you would benefit from doing Profundity before anything else. Because I imagine that if you're either free to play or you are a light spender, and it makes sense for you to get that quickly so that you can start earning those shards as quickly as possible. Now, if you are a light spender, the only caveat I will say to that is with the anniversary, and I rarely say this, I hate saying wait for a Lightspeed bundle, but the only caveat is that with the anniversary coming up, it is very, very likely that those Lightspeed bundles will return in the next 2 weeks. It is super likely. So still shard farm, still slow farm those things to hedge your bet, but maybe not put any gear into anything Profundity wise until we see the full breadth of the anniversary and what that looks like. But I definitely think Leia, then Profundity, then go back and hit Bo-Katan. You exist in this cool space in the game. I've said this before. It's like this middle ground space where there's this square of influence where it's like Leia, Profundity, JML, and Jabba, where once you hit that, you don't have to worry about what to do for the next 8 months because all of those things are super strong and important and impactful, and they all work with each other and they all work in tandem. So I think as main priority, you would do Leia, Profundity, Bo-Katan to help your guild. Man, I'm really torn on whether to do JML or Jabba first for you. I think JML just because it'll be a lot faster, especially with that Mon Mothma. Then I would do JML, Jabba, and then if your guild is heavily pushing for Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, you have to slot him in there. If your guild is not heavily pushing for you to get Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, I would do him at the tail end of all of that. Hey, Nee. How's it going? Thank you for stopping in. And this is like a long plan, man. This is like 6 to 8 months here, but it is going to supercharge your account with all of the extras. If all of that makes sense. We must move quickly. We don't have a lot of time. We got something, turn water into wine. I'm going to give you a minute to respond. I know that you are working, so you may not be able to respond, but I'm going to give you a minute so you can kind of check. You can see if there's anything. My early paid deposit of, that doesn't seem like the right amount of money. And we can see, and I'm gonna have to look at my bank account if there's any changes that need to happen. Yeah, man, I'm tired too. I'm always tired. I don't sleep very well, so you know I'm constantly awake. It's just, it is my cross to bear, is what it is, unfortunately. I'm assuming that Kith is maybe a little bit indisposed right now. We might be able to get one more in here, which is nice. This line was so big, and I'm glad that we're able to get through more of it than I was hoping to. So that way we can knock out a lot more of it on Sunday for brunch. Okay, you got it. Perfect. Awesome. So we're going to move on because it's only 8:15, so I think we can do another one. Bruno, let's say 127. Beautiful. And Bruno's account. I'm becoming popular. I look, my goal for this year was, we started this year at about 1,500 subs. My goal for this year was 4,000. I don't know if we're going to hit that goal, but it was an ambitious goal, and we did really well for ourselves. So, like, I'm happy with where we are and what we've been doing. What does that have to do with you and Shadow lobbying? Listen, I need a fan base that helps out, right? I need a fan base that shares my name. I need people, like, I am constantly on Discord telling people that my Twitch account is BigBoat777. I need people doing that for me. I need people saying, hey, check out this Egnard's video. It's an awesome video. Especially that Cantina farming video, right, Shadow? C squared, you're my only dom. Oh, now I need to change. Now I need to change this timestamp. Let's say 29. 29 will be safe. I did good. It was a good year. And I set a very ambitious goal. And I don't know if I'm meeting that ambitious goal, but I am happy with where we're at. I am very happy with where we're at. I'm happy with what we've been doing this year. All right, we're at 129. Bruno is up. Bombasa Warrior. 5 million accounts. Another mid-game account. We're hitting a rodeo. Oh, let me read the thing. Top 20. A handful of 7-star Leviathans. The rest is Profundity or 7-star Executor. I'm able to beat Leviathans and climb to the top 5, sometimes the top 1. I have not found a Discord for my Fleet Shard, but set my reset time so that I'm the only one climbing for that hour. Salt battles, mostly in order at least CT1. Steven Shadow CT1. Duel of the Fates is a hard R9. Do it. It should never be R7. R9. Always R9 Duel of the Fates. Now, again, caveat, you're only 5 million, so it's maybe not the most impactful thing for you, but I promise you that it'll, in fact, I would rather you get Duel of the Fates to R9 than Peridia to R7. I think that that's more important. Duel of the Fates to R9 over Peridia to R7. What are you currently working on, though? Peridia Bros to R7, Jabba BKM. Are you dead set? I'm set on Peridia Bros and Jabba. We don't talk about Bruno. That would be funny, right? If I was like, we don't talk about Bruno, and then I skipped this review. Are you dead saying continuing? Yes. How highly do you value efficiency? Almost purely efficiency besides some OP relicking. Are there any favorite characters you want to prioritize? No. Shards for an important proving grounds characters. 160 of 330 for Malgus. Malicos is 175 to 330 on Luthen Real. Okay, so Malicos is a great team. Malicos is a great team, but for where you are in the game, I don't think it's the best team for you because it's a very expensive team on Omicrons. Kind of the same thing with Luthen. It's a great team. It gives me holds often. I don't think it's a super important team for you right now. User, I do agree with you. I do agree with you, but I have to think in the mindset of someone that does not spend money to the degree that you spend money at. The earlier, the better, but sometimes there are things that are more impactful for a roster that does not have the same access to those same things. Ufus are so expensive of a team. It is not worth it early game. So let's take a look. We are climbing to 1 with our profundity and at 5 stars, which is nice. But I will say this again, the best time to farm a new fleet is when you don't necessarily need the new fleet. We have just Leia. Okay, I want to see, because this is from 10. We had so many people post on 1028. This is from 1028, so let's just check this out. Okay, my Enoch boys are at G12 right now. Bring your Duel of the Fates to R9, then bring these boys to R7. Because you'll be able to use all of that extra income that you're getting to bring these guys to R9 later, right? Which will be very nice for you. Jabba and BKM. Raid history, 2.4 million. He's on the right track, I think. 65, okay, so you don't really have to do much for a raid. Tools, gear tracker. Okay, BKM. BKM you're getting closer to. I'm assuming that Malgus, you're at 160, so you're a while from Leviathan. Okay. My only change to your plan, because I like your plan is perfect. Your plan is almost perfect, so I don't want to make too many changes to it. I think you're actually on a really nice, efficient path right now. Bring the dead boys to R9. Peridia Patrol to R7. Jabba BKM, but then finish out your that square that I talked about in the last review, right? So that is Profundity JML. That is the only thing that I would add in there. Get that R9 with the Duel of the Fates. Do that as quickly as you can. Peridia to R7. Jabba BKM. Profundity or JML first? I would say, honestly, do JML first because it'll help you and it'll be impactful to you for Conquest. Then do Profundity because it's just going to really amplify your account and it is going to help you quite a bit when we are talking about like your fleet Discord kind of advancing. You're going to want something newer, especially you're going to want something newer that you don't have to refresh, right? That you can kind of let refresh on its own. JML is just automatic after Leia and Jabba. Yes, I think that there is the square user that is Jabba, JML, Leia, Profundity. And if you are going for one of them, you should be doing all 4 of them. It just, there's so much overlap between those 4 farms that it just makes sense to do all 4 of them. It is a really cool part of the game to be in. A super cool part of the game to be in. Because it's a part of the game where you don't have to think much. You just know what's coming next. And I think it's a smart part of the game for people to exist in, to be able to do that. and it just helps the account considerably. So I wish I could give you something longer than this, man, but I honestly think you're on a very nice track with your account. I'm just expanding you out a little bit further. And, you know, Forest Moon, let's see. Rebel Roundup will be shored up when you have Jabba. I just kind of want to check out your Imperial Troopers real quick. Veers, Piet, Range Trooper. Okay. It's up to you if you want to do this. But if you get Stark and Dark Trooper, and you'll probably need the Imperial Intelligence Zeta, you will probably be able to do Forest Moon at Relic at R3 just by having really high speed farms. But I think you're on the right track. There's not much more we can do. Come back to me in 6 months. I know you never farmed JML, but user, and I said this to you when you and I first started working together, and I'm going to pop this over to my other camera now as we start to finish up. What I said to you early on with your account, right, because you are a whale and you're self-proclaimed in that whaleness, is that I had to figure out your roster in a different way, because you were doing six month projects in 1 month. So JML was not as important for you as other things were important for you. But we talked about our plan, right? And JML is something that we are getting by the end of the year for you. Okay? Because you're just so close, it doesn't make sense not to have JML. It doesn't make sense not to have Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. Those are your short-term goals now, on top of modding, right? Because we have unlocked so many teams on your account in the last month that that you are running out of good mods, and you need to continue focusing on those things. You know what I mean? Can you be the advocate of all whales? You can be the advocate of all whales. We will put up a poll of who's the better whale, who is the whale advocate, who is the voice of the whales. If you can get Storm to also support you in this endeavor, we will make you the advocate of all whales. I think Storm and Sin will both have to support you. And then you will have a non-contested, we'll call you the whale commissioner, or something fun like that, right? I look, mods are a losing battle, right? Mods are something that you're constantly farming, and it's kind of like an RNG machine, because what ends up happening is you get this mod that you think is going to be really great, and then it ends up rolling like crap, and then you go, oh well, just crap, like that was a waste. I'll make a word, let's say, for whales. Anyway, is there a video site to go for good modding education? There's a bunch of them. Captain Amazing just retired not long ago, but he has a great video on how to build 25 speed mods, and he has a system for his speed mods, and I would highly recommend looking up Captain Amazing's speed mod video. I have a mod filtering video that I highly recommend, and it's intended to be like a mid-game and everyman's mod filtering guide. Tassanex is one of the best GAC players in the game. He has some really great mod stuff. If you are on our Discord, just ask. Slice of Otagunga, ask for those videos. Somebody will post them for you. We're all here to help. With that said, I can hear my wife stirring upstairs. So we do need to raid out. If we did not get to you today, there is a good chance that we will get to you on Sunday, because Sunday is our normal time for brunch, right? So we're going to raid out to Berm. Locator is amazing. He also retired, unfortunately. And I'm not sure, I've never watched his modding stuff, but he is He is really great for early mid game content, modding stuff. Um, I'm gonna take the word of the people suggesting that because I haven't seen it, but he's generally very good. But with that said, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you for brunch.